Crypto investing is about to change in a way most people aren't prepared for. Not next decade, not someday, starting in 2026. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The 4-year crypto cycle you've heard about for years is effectively dead. The retail hype machine isn't driving markets anymore. Institutions are, and they're not gambling on memes. They're positioning for real use cases, real revenue, and long-term exposure. Grayscale just released what many believe to be its most important research report yet, and the message is clear. Crypto is no longer a retail-led market. What we're entering now is the institutional era of crypto, one driven by macro forces, regulation, and capital flows that behave very differently from the last bull runs. This video breaks down the 10 dominant crypto investment themes shaping 2026, and why ignoring them could leave investors stuck chasing hype, while serious money quietly moves ahead. For years, crypto revolved around fairly predictable 4-year cycles, having hype, retail mania, explosive rallies followed by brutal crashes. That framework worked until it didn't. What's changed is who's allocating capital. Institutions don't chase narratives. They build exposure. They care about scarcity, compliance, and cash flow. And those priorities are now reshaping the entire crypto market. Start with the macro backdrop. U.S. debt continues to surge. Trust in fiat currencies keeps eroding. In that environment, digitally scarce assets matter more than ever. Bitcoin and Ethereum are no longer fringe bets. They're increasingly treated as monetary alternatives. Assets like BTC, ETH, and even privacy-focused networks such as Zcash fit directly into this thesis of programmatic scarcity in a world of debasement. At the same time, regulatory clarity has flipped the script. 2025 brought landmark developments, ETF approvals, staking guidance, and legislation like the Genius Act. For the first time, institutions can participate without legal ambiguity. And in 2026, that clarity turns into integration. Crypto plugging directly into traditional finance, not sitting outside it. Regulation, once feared, has become a catalyst. Stablecoins are another quiet revolution underway. What began as a trading tool is now becoming mainstream financial infrastructure. Cross-border payments, e-commerce settlement, collateral for derivatives, all increasingly rely on stablecoins. Networks like Ethereum, Solana, Tron, Binance Chain, and Chainlink are positioning themselves at the center of this shift. When institutions move money, they care about efficiency, not ideology. Then there's tokenization, one of the most underappreciated trends in crypto today. Less than 0.01% of global assets are currently tokenized. That includes real estate, equities, bonds, and commodities. But that number won't stay small. As traditional assets move on-chain, protocols like Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and Chainlink become foundational plumbing for global markets. With increased adoption comes a new problem: privacy. Public blockchains expose everything, and that's not acceptable for enterprises, institutions, or even everyday users at scale. Confidential transactions are becoming essential infrastructure, not optional features. Privacy-focused protocols like Zcash, Aztec, and Railgun are positioned for renewed relevance as compliance and confidentiality collide. Another force reshaping crypto is artificial intelligence. AI is accelerating rapidly and centralizing power at the same time. The coming agent economy needs decentralized identity, payments, and compute layers to function at scale. That's where blockchains step in. Networks like BIT and SOAR, Near, WorldCoin, and other AI-integrated protocols are building the rails for machine-to-machine economy. DeFi is also evolving. The speculative chaos of early DeFi is giving way to something more structured: DeFi 2.0. Lending, perpetuals, and institutional liquidity are exploding in volume. Platforms like Aave, Morpho, Maple, Uniswap, and Solana-based protocols are attracting capital, not because they're flashy, but because they generate yield and fees in predictable ways. Underneath all of this is a quiet arms race between blockchains themselves. Next-generation chains are competing on throughput, cost, and finality. Sub-second confirmations and high transactions per second aren't buzzwords anymore. They're requirements. Chains like Sway, Near, and emerging architectures are pushing development velocity faster than legacy networks can respond. And this leads to the metric institutions care about most: revenue. In the next phase of crypto, hype matters less than cash flow. Fee-to-market cap ratios are becoming a core valuation lens. Networks that generate consistent on-chain revenue attract sticky, long-term capital. That's why blockchains like Solana, Ethereum, Tron, Binance Chain, and newer high-revenue ecosystems are drawing institutional attention. Finally, staking is becoming default behavior, not a niche yield strategy, but a baseline expectation. New U.S. rules now allow staking within ETFs and clarify that staking isn't a securities transaction. That opens the door for massive passive inflows. Liquid staking protocols like Lido and Jito sit directly in the path of that capital. Here's the real takeaway. The 2026 crypto playbook is institutional grade. This is no longer about chasing the next 100x altcoin. It's about understanding which tokens play critical roles in regulated, revenue-generating, on-chain systems. Many altcoins won't survive this transition. The ones that do will be deeply embedded in these dominant narratives. Crypto isn't dying. It's growing up. And the investors who adapt, who think in terms of fundamentals instead of hype, are the ones who will be positioned ahead of the next wave. If you want deeper breakdowns, specific token analysis, and actionable positioning aligned with these trends, that's exactly what Altcoin Investing Picks is built for. This is where preparation beats prediction. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember, the biggest opportunities usually appear when the rules change.